performing artist weighed to honor a Houston Instagram model who was killed Sunday. Drake dedicated his album, Certified Lover Boy, to Miss Mercedes Moore. The 33-year-old, whose real name is Janae Gagne, was strangled in her home.
Based on this story, we will be traveling to the city of Houston, Texas. Houston is the fourth largest city in the United States and home to the famous Space Center, renowned chefs, inspiring museums, and beautiful green spaces, complete with a bayou running through the heart of the city. Mercedes Moore, originally known as Janae Gagne, was someone who grew up with an interesting social life. She was said to formerly be a dancer but later decided to be an influencer and model as that became really popular. She came from a very nice family. She has also been known to be associated with celebrities of the likes of Drake and Cardi B. Her dad and mom were really nice people. She has a very pretty sister too called London. According to some sources, Miss Moore had a platform where men who liked her would donate money to her, just for liking what they see. Some men believe they should have access to any lady who they donate money to at a particular point of the non-romantic relationship, which can make the situation very dangerous sometimes. That would be the case of 34-year-old Kevin Acorto, who felt used and neglected. According to some unconfirmed reports, Kevin had been sending Miss Moore money and was expecting some sort of reward from it, which he did not receive. So Kevin decided to take matters into his hands. On August 29th, Kevin would find his way from Florida to Houston, Texas, where Miss Moore lived in a well-gated and secured community. He stalked her for a good amount of time and was able to finally pinpoint her apartment. He would then make his way into the so-called gated community without much stress and then into Miss Moore's apartment, where he was able to get hold of Miss Moore. Not much is known about what transpired between both of them indoors, but it would be later discovered that Miss Moore had been strangled to death in her apartment by Kevin. Miss Moore's father, having not heard from his daughter all weekend, which he said was unlike her, rushed to her home on Sunday to find her dead body after he broke down her front door.
We keep her private. Nobody, not even her real friends, really knew her name. I've moved my daughter 3 times just because of my insecurities and the freeze, of course. But, she didn't have friends by her house. I know my daughter. And when I got to my daughter's house, and it was locked up, and she's not answering my phone, which is not like her, I knew something was up, so I didn't hesitate to get the door down. And what I saw, I wouldn't want any parent to go through. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, which is even more hurtful.
Upon getting inside, he would find her daughter dead. Thinking she fell down the stairs, he went up the stairs only to find an unknown man in some kind of distress. He was said to be twitching and gurgling when found. That man was later identified as Kevin Acorto. Police were called to the scene and they would discover on the wall, written in Miss Moore's lipstick, confession of his love, apologies, and professed love for Miss Moore. Also some comments looking like the reason why he has done what he did, along with some that had nothing to do with the crime, apologizing to the landlord for messing up his house. And then, a very important one, mentioning how she made me think she liked me but wore a ring from another man. Most likely Kevin was referring to this video she posted on her Instagram page.
Mystery still surrounds an Instagram model's murder in Richmond. Tonight, her millions of followers are still asking why. Our Grace White is back on the case tonight and has new details. Grace?
What makes this case so complex is social media. Janae Gagne's family says she didn't know the man who killed her. Now police are poring over her millions of followers to try to find him.
Did you recover any weapons, any guns, any knives? Did you recover anything from the crime scene?
I don't want to release what we have or have not recovered. I will tell you there was no shooting involved.
Motive is still the biggest mystery in the murder of Instagram model Miss Mercedes Moore. The 33-year-old was found strangled to death in her Richmond apartment Sunday. The man identified as the suspect, 34-year-old Kevin Acorto from Florida.
What about his car? Do you know how he got here from Florida? Did you recover a car?
That is
Proof of an
information.
airline
That is information that is part of the case that I won't release. It has to do with tracking him from how he got to Texas.
Another question police are still trying to answer: how did he get in? There were no signs of forced entry, and it's a gated complex. Somehow, though, he found a way in.
You have to kind of understand those apartments. You can enter 3 different ways: through the garage, through the back door, through the front door. So it makes it difficult to understand.
But police in the small town of Richmond vowing to get answers in what's been the highest profile murder case they've seen in years.
There will be closure for the family. Before this case ends, there will be closure for the family.
We asked police about restraining orders and if this suspect had a criminal history. So far, they've found none of that. Police did tell us they've been in touch with this man's family in Florida and hope to learn more about his motive.
She was sweet with them as she is with us. She took care of people. She's just a sweetheart. And my baby's gone from a tragic event that didn't have to happen. And it's just dangerous.
Fort Bend County Medical Examiner ruled Miss Moore's death a homicide by way of strangulation and traumatic concussion. According to them, they were not certain if Kevin was part of her Instagram followers or part of other social media accounts with sizable followings that she controlled, including those on Facebook, OnlyFans, Snapchat, and Twitter. Police was also not sure how Kevin managed to not only locate Miss Moore's personal residence but also gain entry to the gated apartment complex that only has 3 ways to get in: the garage, the back door, and the front door, with none of them showing evidence of forced entry. That still remains a mystery. After her death was reported, there was a lot of rumors going viral online. There are a growing number of gossip websites and social media accounts suggested without proof that Kevin was Miss Moore's financial daddy. Those unsubstantiated reports were subsequently discredited by her family members.
News stories and calls and everything started popping up without reaching out to the parents, without reaching out for information. And it went from false accusations of HIV or COVID to other things, and nobody even reached out to talk to us. So when I was contacted, I'm here to set the story straight, let everybody know what happened. Janae was very loved, and she probably loved more than we would have thought of. I knew my daughter had a large following, and I knew she had some friends that, not high placement, but friends that were influential. I didn't know all the love that she had, and hopefully we're able to, give her memorial or do something for her in a way that everybody is happy with, and everybody will be able to have closure like we want closure.
We just want a respectful service. Again, she's a human being, and we just were not wanting to see the disrespectful comments that were on social media. It was horrific.
Now, the family of an Instagram model who was killed is now speaking out. We first told you about the death of Miss Mercedes Moore yesterday.
Authorities say her body was found in her apartment in Fort Bend County, along with the body of a man who killed her on Sunday. And now her family has come forward to share their heartbreak as they search for answers following this disturbing discovery. KPRC 2's Jacob Rascone live in Richmond tonight with the new details. Jacob?
The family says they hadn't heard from her for a couple days, so they showed up here to the apartment complex. When no one answered when the dad knocked, he kicked the door in and said he found his daughter there on the floor, already deceased, and her killer upstairs with a knife in him, still alive. To her parents and other family and friends, 33-year-old Janae Gagne was so much more than an Instagram model.
She was special. Just like she had a few million followers, that's all fine and good. But she was a person, and we miss her a lot.
Searching us out to get the facts. Janae was loved, funny, goofy, crazy as hell. I know, and I shouldn't say that about my daughter, but that's my daughter.
2.6 million followers on Instagram knew her as Mercedes Moore. What happened on Sunday was the family's worst nightmare. Attacked, they say, by a stalker.
How this guy found her, I don't know, but me walking in and finding my daughter and finding him, something that a parent should never bear.
She's very cautious about her surroundings. Unfortunately, someone basically was stalking and killed my baby.
Police say Kevin Accordo lived in Florida and did not know Janae. His only criminal record, traffic violations.
It does hurt as a parent to know you're burying your child before, you pass away.
Feeling as a father that you can't protect your daughter and something happens like this?
Janae was just a light, to be honest, and not just outside of the home, but she was very protective of me, protective of her dad, and she just was always the sweetest thing.
Exactly how the suspect got here from Florida, got in the house, found her, all of that we still do not know. We watched the family remove her belongings from the home today, and they're currently making funeral arrangements.
Family and friends held a vigil on her behalf.
Tonight, dozens of friends and family members of 33-year-old Houston area influencer Janae Gagne gathered at Terry Hershey Park to say goodbye. Police say the woman was murdered late last month by a man who somehow got into her apartment and strangled her. Our Matt Doherty was at the vigil with the story.
This shocking murder is still very much a mystery to so many of the people who showed up to the vigil tonight. The social media influencer known online as Miss Mercedes Moore had millions of followers. They included celebrities such as Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion, and Drake. In fact, Drake dedicated his new album to the model today. TMZ reports Cardi B has been invited to Gagne's celebration of life service tomorrow. At tonight's vigil, we heard from her parents.
She just was so happy and so funny and just so loving, and she just loved to
It would
joke
be all
around.
about her.
Yeah, as it is.
We
as
wouldn't
it
be up
should
here. It would be all about you.
As it should be. As about her. And again, we're going to remember that amazing spirit, that funny laugh, that 4'11" body, but that 8 foot tall, experience that we all got. So I appreciate her and love her, and we'll miss her forever and ever. Ever and ever.
Richmond police have released a few details on the murder so far. However, police say 34-year-old Florida man Kevin Accordo strangled Gagne. They have not said what they believe was the motive for the crime. Tonight, family members and friends shared their tears and their memories of a life that was taken far too soon.
There is an ongoing investigation to determine a motive in the case at this point in time. Our sincere condolences to the friends and families of Janae Gagne. We hope the desired conclusion of her family is reached soon enough. Please stay safe and see you guys in the next video.